now we have to figure out what we're going to say. This is definitely the longest we've gone without podcasting, right? It's been 4 months. All of December, all of January, February, and now this is the last day of March. It's 4 months.
Wow. And we're coming back to this.
Star Wars, Transformers, Godzilla, animation, whatever else. Rebels, robots, and etc.
You can really tell how much we don't want to talk about Monarch Season 2. Even though we haven't podcasted in months, and theoretically just talking about anything should be fun, that we have to include a whole other thing that was not previously podcast content. We're just going to cram in new podcast content. But, it does relate to most of our listener base because our friend group read the book Project Hail Mary and absolutely loved it. And it skyrocketed so high that it went on Rachel's
Skyrocket.
Oh, very nice. Good. We're already starting off with the bad jokes. We're already there.
We're back. We're back.
So today we're gonna do two things. We're gonna have our second book club, kind of a mini book club.
I need to go get my book.
If you want to. Here she goes.
I didn't think about it.
Athena's we're already giving our producer a job. You got to cut this out, Athena. We don't need this in there. We're out in a book club, Project Hail Mary, because we both read the book and really loved it. And then we went and saw the movie. We'll talk about it. Do a book club. Talk about the differences broadly. We're not going to go through, Rachel, you're not going to skim through and do every single difference. You probably don't have a...
Oh, I didn't open the book.
But we'll do a little mini review. But then today's actual topic is the first half of Monarch Season 2, a thing that I am flabbergasted exists. This is truly bizarre.
I see everyone in the comments of every ad for it just like singing its praises, and I want to know what show they're watching so that we can watch that instead.
I know. And in the build-up, so many people kept like putting it on like things they were excited for the year, or like, oh, this is a golden time to be a Godzilla fan, and they would include that. And I think I have a feeling you probably feel the same way I do, which is it just made me not want to watch this more because I knew other people like forcing themselves to be excited for it is how I felt, made me hate it.
They're all bots getting paid. They're all getting paid.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to it. But as always, news, woos and boos. Do you have any news? Because I have one piece of news.
I got no news.
Okay. You would think that it was, for me, I predicted one or the other. Either Rachel would have a bunch of news and a bunch of memes, or none. And it is on the second half.
I have none.
None for both. So this isn't really news as much as it's a headline, though, that relates to one of our movies from last year, Jurassic World Rebirth. The headline is Begonia, which is another film from last year, and Jurassic World Rebirth among this year's Oscar nominees to pass the Bechdel test for climate change. The climate reality check once again looked for climate change visibility in this year's award season. So I don't know what that sentence really means, but it included something from podcast content, so I thought I would enjoy it. Oh, I didn't introduce the episode.
What is the Bechdel test for climate change?
I don't know, and I don't care to know. It's Starformers Zilla Night. Welcome to Rebels and Robots and etc. episode 92. This is our whenever we want to talk chat about Star Wars and
Transformers.
Wow. That was a 4-month gap right there. And Godzilla today, and whatever else we both want to talk about, which today will, as I stated previously, will include Project Hail Mary. If you don't know, we are in season 4, or year 4 of the podcast, Rachel. It's pretty crazy.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say season 4 of Monarch. And I was like, what?
You just went into a coma and came back out.
Put me back.
You went into a fugue state. I wouldn't be shocked if watching Monarch causes someone to go to a fugue
I'd
state.
rather
It's
wake
that
up
kind
on
of
a
show.
spaceship by myself. Two dead bodies.
With no memory of why you're there.
No memory of why I'm there.
Man. If you didn't listen to our episode from the end of last year, we have decided that Rebels and Robots will become a as needed podcast, that we're not going to do it on a regular rotation because we didn't really want to just keep being forced to come up with new things to cover. We have another podcast that we are planning. We have a name and we have a concept. Now we just need a graphic and we need to decide of when we're going to record the first episode. It's okay. Rachel has the look of when you show up to class on Monday and realize that you forgot a homework assignment from over the weekend. We have not discussed it since the first time we discussed the graphic. We have not made any decisions on it, but we know what it's going to be. So it is coming, and it's very exciting. I think anyone who enjoys this podcast will enjoy that new podcast, and it will be on this same feed. So this new feed will become the new podcast, and then Rebels and Robots will be continued to post on this feed as well.
It's like a Discord server where you've got your main channel and then all your mini channels, your little subsets.
Exactly.
Or for the employed Teams or Slack.
For the adults in the room whose backs hurt when they wake up in the morning and have to have responsibilities. We all have mouths to feed. Some are hairier than others and require little crunchy niblets. Anyways.
She's on 2 prescription diets now.
2? Whoa.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world.
No.
The kind of transition into Project Hail Mary, Gosling is podcast content now because he's going to be in it. We've talked about that he's going to be the star of a Star Wars thing, but it's coming to be reality.
I think after seeing him in a space movie, there's some potential there.
Sure. It really occurred to me, thinking about the other day, it doesn't come out for a little over a year. I was thinking that maybe we had gotten some new images since the last time we podcasted. I don't think so. Okay, I was wrong. I thought I had seen something. But so just as a transition, Gosling, not going to be the last time we talk about him.
At least it's not La La Land.
I like La La Land, but I don't foresee that becoming podcast content. Not on this podcast. Maybe the other podcast. Perhaps. Mayhaps.
I don't particularly care for La La Land.
That's fine. Not podcast content. What is podcast content now is our second book club, Project Hail Mary, written by Andy Weir, same author as the book that served as the inspiration for the Matt Damon film, The Martian.
And also something Artemis. There's another one.
Is it? I think it's like Project. Wait, no, this is Project Hail Mary, so it's probably not Project Artemis.
I have it. I also pulled it off my shelf.
I'm good.
I've heard. So the main character is actually a woman.
Oh.
And I've heard.
It's just called Artemis.
And I've heard Andy Weir can't write women.
That's not shocking. So if you don't know, Project Hail Mary.
Shall I read the blurb?
I think
Shall I read the blurb?
I'll give us a quick summary.
It's only like
if you don't know, if you somehow manage to avoid the trailers and don't know anything about the book, then if you like fun science fiction, if you like The Martian, if you like Ryan Gosling,
if you want to watch Interstellar but be happy about it,
yeah, that's a good comparison. If you kind of combine The Martian and Interstellar with a little bit more on the like science fiction-y elements, without giving away too much, you would enjoy it. And I think you should. The more blind you are, probably the more you will enjoy it. Now, if you don't, so that is to say, skip this review and go read the book first, because I think the book is by far the superior version of the story, but the movie is a fun sort of extension of the book, is how I would describe it. But if you want to know a little bit more, a man wakes up on a spaceship and figures out that he is light years away from Earth. He's in a different solar system.
He has no memory of who he is.
And he slowly regains his memory. He doesn't remember anything about himself. He can, as the classic film, what's the word? Amnesia goes. You can remember knowledge, but you don't remember your memories. He slowly remembers his own memories and realizes that he's on a mission to save Earth because there are something called
Astrophage.
Thank you. Slowly eating the sun, and they are going to another solar system where that sun is not dying to figure out what is different and what they can use to fight the astrophage. And while he's there, he makes an alien friend who's doing the same thing, and they're going to work together. As I think it's Watney from The Martian says, science the shit out of it, and it's a lovely both science, like heavy on the science as far as like he's a middle school teacher. He's constantly in his head explaining the science that he's doing, but it's also a very fun like buddy story. That's the basics of it, and the movie also adheres very closely to that. I'm trying to think about where would be a good place to start. Just general thumbs up or thumbs down. We both agree the book is great. The book's incredible. Thumbs down for the movie. Oh, she's making a reference to the movie.
I'm making a reference to the movie.
You want to explain the reference that you just made?
Okay, so spoilers, as we've already said. Ryland Grace realizes he is not alone, and he is joined by a small, well, not really small, more like a 300-pound little rock crab alien, who he affectionately dubs as Rocky. And in the movie, he's trying to teach him a thumbs up, but Rocky does not have the dexterity to do anything except thumbs down.
Yes.
So everything I've seen online is everyone, should I watch this? And a million people saying yes with thumbs down.
Yep. I guess Rocky's a good place to start because he's definitely like the best part of the book and the movie, undeniably, I would say, in my opinion.
Ryland got way more bearable to read once Rocky showed up.
Oh, for sure. No, there's a reveal much later in the book that will make you realize he's a complicated character. He is not meant to be like a pure, straightforward hero. And
he shouldn't have been on the ship. That wasn't really the initial plan.
Exactly. And there's an element of selfishness to his character, and that really comes out early on. He is kind of meant to be a bit of a loser in some ways. He's very intelligent, but he's a bit of a loser. Mm-hmm. I think the film actually kind of loses some of his intelligence and just kind of makes him a doofus a lot of the time. But
or it makes him a sympathetic loser.
Absolutely.
Versus like in the book, you're a little bit more like, oh, this is probably the guy you would not want to be in a group project with.
Sure. But Rocky, in the film, is given a lot of personality because he's a practical puppet a lot of the time and has a phenomenal voice performance.
And it's a practical set.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a lot of
the space station, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the set is constantly real. Rocky himself is consistently a puppet. Good voice performance, fun writing. I failed to mention that the film is directed by Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who started off in animation with, which is another podcast relevant thing.
Podcast content.
I'm trying to remember their first movie. Cloud the Chance Meatballs, which I'm kind of okay on. I think it has its strengths and weaknesses. Lego Movie, which freaking rules. The Jump Street movies, which I think are a lot of fun and very funny and a good buddy movies. Half of Solo, also podcast content. If you don't know the production history of that, they started making it and they got fired during production. So like some of the footage that you see in Solo was directed by them. They did not write the screenplay though, so it's kind of their movie, but they're not credited as directors. So that was the last time they officially, or in any capacity, directed movies. Now they are writers and heavily involved with the Spider-Verse films. And I would not be surprised if at times they took on directing qualities, because if you look at the credits, those movies have multiple directors credited, so I would not be surprised if you have 3 credited directors. I would not be surprised if more people are taking on responsibilities. And
the soundtrack artist for Project Hail Mary, David Pemberton, did all the Spider-Verse movies
for
too.
Sure. And so if they're good at one thing, it is imbuing characters with very likable personalities. And they do that with Rocky 100%. And so that is probably, I think, the most faithful and successful adaptation of the book. Do you have anything to add about Rocky on either side of the book or the movie.
I love it.
Just universally beloved character at
Yes.
this point.
And I think, like, as you read the book and also as you watch the movie, it's very clear that they both needed each other in order to find a solution to the astrovage problem. If Ryland had just shown up and had no one else, he would not have in any way been able to find the solution. Rocky could not find a solution.
Yeah.
The sad part is that Rocky had been there 46 years.
Yeah, they have much longer lifespans, but he was alone because both Human and Iridian is the alien race. All the crew died except for these two characters. Yeah. No, I think I think you and I, we both really love stories about collaboration and people working together. And both of their societies have developed very differently. And so they both have technology and knowledge that the other one does not. And so, yeah, they work together, and it's such a fun, it's like, there's elements in here of like, just, if you remove the science fiction side of it, the saving the world side of it, of like just what it's like to communicate across cultures, to get to understand people. There's like an element of like language and understanding each other. I think you could also read it as an element of like a metaphor for almost for disability, and how just like neither of them can survive in the other's environment, and they need each other in order to function. Like, do you get what? It seems like you seem skeptical of what I'm saying. Of how, like, if there's in the movie visualizes it well, when Rocky goes into his environment, like in Rocky's world, he's a normal person, but in the human environment, he's by definition disabled because he can't interact.
They're
with
making
anything.
accommodations for each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great simple way to put it.
Sorry, I was like, the gears were turning.
Well, and just this philosophy of disability is that society is what disables you. It's your environment to, like, you are who you are, and your environment either assists you or hinders you. I'm not saying that's an entirely what the movie's. I'm not saying that the movie is supposed to be about, and I'm not saying that.
I'm thinking you sprung this on me. My brain has turned off from work.
I'm just saying it could be seen as a nice metaphor for that they don't like hate each other for their differences. They love each other for their differences, and they like accommodate for those things, and they help each other out. And it's a nice like metaphor for how like we all have our different physical and like, because like, for example, Rocky, incredible brain for memory. Like, they don't even have computers in his world, partially because they can just all remember everything. And so when he looks at Grace, he's kind of dumb and mentally because he can't remember everything, can't do instant math. But Rocky literally can't see. He has echolocation, but there are things that he is incapable of perceiving because he can't see. And likewise, there are things that Grace cannot perceive. So like their differences in their biology, I think, work nicely for that element of not seeing people's disability as just what hinders them, but also just what makes them different. It's definitely not meant to be that deep of a comment, Rachel. You do not think that hard about it.
Too late. I see what you're getting at.
And so that's something I think is really good about it. The other thing that the film, I think, does quite well that is just obviously lacking in the book is the visuals. I do think that what I said earlier, that I think the book is a really nice extension of... Sorry, the book is a really nice extension. Man, the movie is a nice extension of the book because it just visually represents things nicely.
So I saw an interview with Andy Weir who talked about his writing style is that he doesn't write specifics.
Oh, that
like
makes
when it
sense.
comes to visuals, which makes a lot of sense, because I was reading this going, okay, there are some things I'm just going to have to read and take the words at face value.
Sure.
Where it mattered, but they're like describing the spaceship.
Yeah. It helped for me because there is a diagram at the front of the book.
There's a diagram at the front of the book. I feel like that's still done.
So a lot of people, the audiobook is quite popular. If you listen to the audiobook, still look up the diagram because it will help you just kind of visualize.
It's so popular because the guy who read the audiobook cold read it, which means he read it for the first time.
Yeah.
So he's not performing.
Yeah.
He is reading it as you would, and there's a realism to that.
Sure. No, he did a good job. I'm not really into audiobooks. I listened to a little bit with Allison.
I'm not really an audiobook person.
So I think the movie is beautifully shot. I think I think of like the early Harry Potter movies are very like flatly shot. I feel like a lot of like book adaptations, because they're trying so hard to bring the book to life, as it were, they don't really have a sense of like actual filmmaking to them. They're just kind of like very literal and straight to the point. This definitely has a visual style. It's not Interstellar. I don't even think it necessarily looks as good as The Martian does. I really like the way The Martian is shot, but it still has some really nice choices.
What was the budget for The Martian?
That is an interesting question.
The budget for Project Hail Mary was like $190 million.
It was a lot. They spent a lot. They definitely put a lot of the money on screen. The Martian. See, the issue with The Martian is a lot more famous actors in it, so the budget doesn't necessarily reflect how much they put. Also, The Martian, I feel like, is almost simpler in a lot of ways. It only $108 million according to this, so made on a much smaller budget actually. Yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say. I just, there's just a lot of cool visualization.
I like the way that they visualize the hamster ball, because the way Andy Weir writes the spaceship is that it's very small.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense to have all that room, but I feel like the ship, like in the actual visual of the movie, it worked well.
Yeah. And so what you're talking about is that
in order for Rocky to survive in the ship. So Rocky has come onto Grace's ship because he's an engineer. He's not actually a scientist. So he does not know how to do science. But he can make stuff. And so he comes onto Ryland's ship. And so the big difference is that Earth atmosphere is very obviously nitrogen and oxygen. On Arid, it's all ammonia, both of which will kill the other. And so Rocky shows up in a glass hamster ball, basically, and creates a bunch of tunnels for him to skitter around the ship so he doesn't die. So Rocky no die in Grace atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you think that the movie does well?
So this is the biggest change.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they made a way for Ryland to go to Rocky's ship, because in the book he does not.
Yes, that is a good change.
Which I think it honestly makes a lot of sense when they did that in the movie. I'm like, well, yeah, duh.
Mm-hmm.
If Rocky could make a little suit for himself, why couldn't he do it for Ryland? And the way they do it is by making a very similar little glass suit for Ryland to walk in. And I think it made a lot of sense. I was like, I'm okay with this change. I wanted to see the inside of Rocky's ship. I was mad when we didn't get to see it in the book.
On the flip side, while I totally agree with that, the ship is seemingly like totally different from it is in the book. So you're not, kind of almost unfortunately, as a fan of the book, you're not getting to see the inside of Rocky's ship from the book.
It is very different because it's described as flat planes, like trapezoidal, just welded together.
The one in the movie almost looks like 3D printing filament. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost got a lot of like
maybe that's their connection.
Solid spaces.
Yeah, maybe that's their connection to all the stuff he makes. Rocky's got a 3D printer.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He practically is a 3D printer. He can make whatever he wants pretty much at any time. And that's a good note. Yeah, and it looks like all the ship stuff looks so good. And
it's nice to see a bit of a space movie that isn't just trying to replicate Alien.
Sure.
It just felt unique because it does it take place in 2026?
You know, I never actually caught a year. I don't know.
It's definitely in the 20s.
Interesting.
I'm or maybe late 2010s, but it's not just here's 1980s space tech. Here is futuristic
for sure
advanced space tech, which was kind of, I don't know. I just thought that was refreshing.
So my biggest problem with the movie, I guess I'll do with my biggest problem of it as an adaptation. which is not necessarily fair. I do think movies should be able to exist as their own thing, but once you've read the book and you really love the book, it's hard to separate them, especially when it's this faithful. If it was like this whole other thing, you'd be able to divorce yourself from the book because, oh, it's doing its own thing. But it's mostly just the book with things cut out for the most part. Like the things that are in the movie are almost all from the book, with very few exceptions.
Well, did you see the original cut was 3 hours and 45 minutes?
That does not surprise me that there was more shot that they did not use.
Release the director's cut.
I mean, I would gladly watch a longer version of this, especially because there's a couple of characters from the flashbacks that are played by notable actors who are almost irrelevant to the movie. And I'm sure that they probably had more scenes that they shot. But my biggest problem of it as an adaptation is that something that's super present in the book that I really, really enjoy, that I don't resent them for not including in the movie because it would be harder to include a movie, is the driving force of the book is constantly having to solve problems. There's constantly a new problem that they have to solve, and Ryland Grace's internal monologue takes you through all his thought process. And I don't want to make an unfair comparison, but that is super present in The Martian. The Martian really does actually accomplish that really, really well. And so I think The Martian is good at the science stuff, the problem-solving stuff, the like scene-to-scene stuff, and for me lacks a larger story that I find compelling. I don't find Survival that compelling of a story. But Hail Mary has this really fun overarching narrative and good human character work, but lacks the problem-solving element, I feel. And I think part of it is they were trying not too hard. I think they were trying somewhat to not be too much like The Martian, which I respect. But I would have liked a little bit more of that. Do you have a note on biggest change maybe, or just thing that you think is lacking that's not in the movie that you liked in the book?
I feel like they kind of, in a way, removed the direness of the astrophage.
Oh, interesting. That's a good note. Yeah.
The sun is dying. And yes, they talk about it, like Strat mentions it, all these people are going to die. But I think I don't know I don't want thing you could take it out. I think I actually really liked how Strat is unlikable in the book.
Oh, interesting.
I liked that. She's dedicated. And I think them removing key aspects such as turning the Sahara Desert into a solar farm to warm up the planet and nuking the Antarctic to try and speed up global warming to keep them warmer for long enough. I think removing that kind of dampens how bad things are actually really going to get. I was talking about this with one of our friends who went and saw it, because when the movie also confirms that the Beatles have been received, which is how Ryland sends the information back to Earth, which it's kind of left a little ambiguous until the very end of the book.
That definitely feels like a studio note because it's very strangely shot. Like, it's kind of pointless, and I totally agree that it's kind of tacked on and doesn't really add much to the movie other than making it a happy ending. Yeah,
I could imagine people be like, we don't know, but it was solved in the book by Rocky saying, hey, our scientists saw that your son's soul is back to normal, so somehow it worked. But I think taking out some of those aspects really kind of makes the astrophage not scary, which, whatever, it's a force of nature. It's not a villain by any means, but we had to put 17 nukes in Antarctica to raise sea levels so that way the Earth doesn't die faster is really intense. And Strat having the power to do that, I feel like them taking that out just really, like I said, it kind of feel like it removes the threat level. I did not care for the karaoke scene. Yeah. I think they were trying to humanize her and make it feel like it was more of a betrayal when you find out what happens. But I actually feel like with the normal characterization of Strat in the book, you're like, she's up to something. Like, you just know. You're like, she's going to do whatever it takes to solve this problem. And she's not really here to play nice about it.
Yeah. No, I think what you're getting at is their priorities for the Earth scenes are not necessarily the right choice, at least from our opinion. I think we have a similar opinion in that. I think now that you say it, I agree that in the book, the Earth stuff that's most compelling is them, again, like I said, the problem solving. And on Earth, it's making things better temporarily, but actually worse long-term multiple times. And the scale of how they're having to solve these problems. They have to produce millions of kilograms of astrophage, because just for context, they use astrophage as fuel for traveling close to the speed of light. And so the scale of that, of having to nuke Antarctica, to having to pave the Sahara because they need the heat to make the astrophage reproduce, all that is really compelling in the book. And in the book, it is pretty solely focused on, when it comes to Strat, the woman who is in charge of the whole Project Hail Mary program, she is pretty much just there to get crap done. Mm-hmm. And
you know what? Good for her.
And the big quote unquote twist at the end of the book is that you're kind of assuming the whole time that, so the plan was they had 2 different teams, 3 different officers who would go on the mission. They had their main crew and their backup crew.
And they were never supposed to be anywhere at the in the book, the 2 people on the same position couldn't be in the same spot at the same time.
They wouldn't travel. Like anything that had presumed danger, like traveling in a plane or a car, anything that might be dangerous, but like just being at the base, not a big deal. But then there's an explosion that kills the 2 science officers.
I did like the slight change in that, because in the book, Ryland and Strat are in their offices.
Yeah.
So I really like the way it was shot in the movie, where Ryland and Strat are talking, like, we only have 3 more days. It's going to be great. Like, we're so close. And you see the explosion in the background. I liked that. I did like that change.
But so the twist is that you've kind of assumed the whole book, something bad happened to the 2 other science officers, and Ryland volunteered to go, or got recruited and agreed. Mm-hmm. But it turns out he was forced, because he was the only one who could do it, because you have to have a special gene in order to survive the coma process that they put you in order to travel for the multiple years it takes to get to the other star. And they drugged him and they gave him the amnesia so that when he woke up, he wouldn't remember that he was forced to do it. And
the goal was, by the time he finally remembers, he's too invested to not do it.
Yes. And so the motivation of the movie is to set up that tragedy. They want to set up a sort of, you could call it like a begrudging friendship, like a secondary friendship. I don't know exactly the word, but not an overt friendship, but like a
colleague.
Yeah, between Strat and Grace, so that when she has to do it, it's sadder. And it doesn't really land all that well. It's not. I don't think it's terrible. I think the book and the movie both sit on either sides of whatever is good in the middle. I think the book, having her be totally sort of lifeless, makes her a very boring character, and I was not looking forward to her being in the movie, because the book version is just not a character, and the movie version is a nice performance. I think she's a good performance, and I think she's compelling. But she doesn't have the cold calculating side of it. So you don't see her making those decisions like you described. So she's kind of on either side. There's something missing in the middle, but to connect the 2. But what works nicely is kind of in your mind, you can kind of meld the book and the movie together. Like you can kind of take some of the personality, the visuals, the elements in the movie that you like, and kind of add them to the book. So I don't think they're incompatible. I think they can kind of go nicely together. Because a lot of the stuff that they're doing with Strat is not necessarily contradictory to her character in the book. It's more tone in the way she's doing things. So that's my opinion on that.
I also feel like when you throw a Harry Styles song in the movie, it really dates it.
Was there really? I did not catch that.
That's what Sign of the Times is. It's a Harry Styles song. Is it
really? I assumed that was like a song from the 80s, because I thought they were doing a Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Nope.
That's crazy. I don't hate it. I don't know the song.
It's not a bad song.
Yeah.
I did see a comment that said, imagine she gets up there and starts singing Watermelon Sugar, which was all over the radio 2 summers ago.
Is that also Harry Styles?
I hate it.
I'm telling you, I have no idea what any Harry Styles song is, I guess, because I don't know him. I don't know his voice. So
I don't care for him.
Well, clearly you know more than me. But So that's all talking about it as an adaptation, as just its own, as best as you can. Rachel, how do you if you had never read the book, or just like, do you think you'd rewatch the movie? Do you enjoy the movie? Did you have a good time?
I'll rewatch it, even knowing it's based off a book.
Yeah, I think the Rocky stuff really helps. But overall, thumbs up on the movie. It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable. I think it's a fairly typical March movie. I think March is oftentimes you get movies that are not amazing but are like pretty good.
I would say it's higher than pretty good.
Yeah, I guess if you had to give it out of 10, what would you give it?
I give it an 8.
That's really strong. I'm more at like 6.5 personally. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't think I would actually. I think I would enjoy it less if I've not read the book, because there would be less. Like there'd be a lot more gaps that I wouldn't have filled. I think honestly, probably the biggest, other than, I think you're gonna like Rocky. If you like fun characters, you're gonna like. He's kind of like E.T. He's kind of like the Iron Giant. He's kind of like robots from. He's a lot like a robot from Star Wars.
B2 emo.
Super fun character, very lovable. I think it's gonna come down to how much you like Gosling in it. And I don't love him, and I think he's okay. I think Gosling's a phenomenal actor, and so I almost had too high of expectations.
I think he made Ryland too likable.
I think he makes him a lovable doofus.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like, you're like, oh, this is a great guy, and in the book, I was kind of like, this guy's kind of pretentious.
In my opinion, it's a little similar to kind of what they did with Star-Lord over time. Is that Star-Lord originally was a rather complicated character. Yeah, he was a bit of a doofus, but he was also like heroic, and but he had this he tried to be tough, but he was kind of wanted to be a ladies' man, but he kind of had a heart of gold, and he had this like very traumatic upbringing, and he was raised by pirates, but ultimately he wants to be a good guy, but he's also kind of selfish, and he's a complicated character. But by the time you get to like Avengers Endgame, he's just an idiot. Like it's called the Flandersization of a character, where you just take the one thing that they're famous for and you just.
Thor.
Yeah, I think Thor did eventually also kind of turn into the same character, and so I'm saying that about Ryland, that in the book, I think I think you can say this both about the book, but also the movie just on its own. If you look at just the movie, he's supposed to be intelligent. He's supposed to be able to think of all these things, but he also. It just comes across as an idiot a lot of the time. And I don't think those things, I think, are not necessarily mutually exclusive. You can be very intelligent in science and dumb in other ways. But I guess his incompetence or his oafishness is played off for humor a little too frequently. And we don't have enough else of him as a character.
I will also say, because I think in the book, the big plot twist is that, well, whatever. The plot at the end is that Ryland realizes the Talmiba have escaped because they can get through Xenonite, which is what they made these breeding tanks to create more of them. Well, he can contain it, which is fine, but Rocky can't because his whole ship is Xenonite. Mm-hmm. And so I think the decision for Ryland to go back and save Rocky is more poignant in the book.
100%.
Because the whole time Ryland is like, I'm going home. Like, I'm going to kick Strats. I'm going home no matter what. And then being like, nope, I'm going to die out here. And then Rocky tells him, and he's like, I can't actually go home. And he's like, I'm going home. And then he's faced with this decision of, do you go home or do you turn around and do what like ultimately is the right thing? Not that to say he didn't like Rocky. He's definitely liked Rocky. Like he was really sad when they had to leave, but that mental internal battle that he has, because I think he waited a bit to see, right? If I remember in the book, it wasn't an immediate turnaround. He weighed his options. I almost thought he wasn't going to go back, actually. And so in the movie, it's not as... It's a large character development for Book Ryland, because you're like, oh, he's not selfish, or he's learned to not be selfish. Mm-hmm. Versus in the movie, it's not as big of a decision for Ryland, I don't think.
Yeah, and the movie plays it as kind of almost happy, because it plays this like Beatles song that's pretty upbeat, and it shows how excited he is to go find Rocky, and it's obviously a little bit tense when he gets there and you don't know if Rocky's alive or not.
Oh, and also One thing the movie said, Ryland was like, I have years of food to live off of. Not true in the book.
Yeah.
He had months.
Yeah. And
that was because his crewmates died.
But the book plays it the entire time. Once he decides to go try to save Rocky, it is so tense. And it is a like hectic, nervous, like I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find him, much less. And if I don't find him, it's all for naught.
I don't know when it happened.
Yeah.
But
and so the hunt is a lot harder. It's depicted as being difficult in the book, and then the moment that he finds Rocky is such an incredible moment in the book. And in the movie, it just doesn't land the same way. And I think you could say that the same even if you've not read the book. I think that scene is tonally strange because it plays this Beatles song and it's kind of upbeat, and then he gets there. And as I'm realizing as I'm watching this movie is I don't know if it's just because I don't read that much, but I feel like when I'm reading the book, tension lands much better as opposed to a movie. And maybe it's because I've watched so many movies, like you know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, the book was really tense.
I guess in a book, if you stopped me and you said, "Do you think Rocky's going to die?" I'd probably be like, "Probably not." But in a movie, because it's only a couple of minutes, the tension, you're like, I don't think they're going to kill Rocky twice. There's two different scenes that he might have died at, and both times, I don't think you really believe he will die in the movie. But in the book, you're like, I don't know, man. And in the book, I think because the book is constantly introducing new problems, you think, okay, maybe he's not going to die, but maybe there's like some sort of new problem caused by it. So totally agree. But still a very fun movie. Exciting watch. Good theater movie, I think. Good for the theaters. Overall recommend. Something I don't overall recommend, though, is Monarch Season 2. If you don't remember, Monarch Season 1, set in the legendary kaiju verse of Godzilla and King Kong. 2015? 2016 is the first season? First season.
Oh, 15, yes, because it's after G-Day.
Yeah, Godzilla 2014. And it's about...
Godzilla mollywopped San Francisco.
Yes, absolutely. It's about the Monarch. Monarch is like you have S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel universe. You've got Monarch in this universe, but
it's like we talked about season 1. It's continuing the story of the two grandkids of the founder.
Correct.
Founders.
Yeah. So it cuts back and forth between the founding of Monarch, which is let's do some character recap because I always need it. You've got Dr. Kiko and her husband,
Bill Randa. Yeah,
Bill Randa, who is played by in the movies. In Kong Skull Island, which takes place in the 70s, played by John Goodman. Younger version here.
He aged a lot in 10 years. He went through a lot.
Their military guy is named Lee Shaw, and he's played by Wyatt Russell.
Younger Russell.
And in the modern day, he's played by the actor's father, Kurt Russell. In the modern day, Dr. Kiko and Bill Randa's son, Hiroshi, has two kids with two different women. One's named Kate, she's American, and May, who is Kentaro, who is Japanese. Both are ethnically Japanese, but Kate is from America, grew up in America. Kentaro grew up in Japan, and they find each other. They spend most of the first season looking for their dad, and then they eventually end up in the Axis Mundi. Is that what it's called? Which is so you have the surface.
It's the Hollow Earth. It's between the Hollow Earth and
the surface and the Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth is where all the monsters come from. Axis Mundi is kind of a dimension in the middle.
It's a highway.
But also it has time dilation. And so they go down there and they actually find that who they thought Dr. Kiko was dead, she's actually alive. And she's only been a couple months for her.
Versus it's been 50 years.
Yeah. And so they save her. They bring her back to the surface. But Shaw sacrifices himself. He also spent some time down there, but he was only down there for a couple hours and he came back and it was a couple years of real time. I actually think it's
random
decade.
Each time.
It's what?
It's random each time.
Oh, it's random. Really? I didn't remember that. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was only down there for a couple hours for him, and he came out a decade later.
Yeah, that was a good point.
I mean, Kiko was down there 50-something days, came out 50, and then our characters, when they went down there, they were gone for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. And so when they come out at the end of the first season, they come out on Skull Island, and... Godzilla's
pissed.
Kong Godzilla came down and fought.
Sorry, that was wishful thinking on my part.
That's where the first season ends. First season picks up right where. Sorry, the second season picks up right where the first season left off, and they pretty much immediately turn around and go back and save Shaw. So the whole Shaw sacrifice is immediately undermined.
The main issue is that in order, along with what happens with bringing Shaw back, a new Titan gets released.
Yes,
and this is a big Titan called Titan X. Kind of dragony, kind of tentacly.
Yeah.
And it's Kate's fault.
Yes.
Because everyone kept telling her to shut the portal, and she didn't until Shaw was back. Well, conveniently left just enough time for that Titan to get out, who also killed the deputy director of Monarch.
Yes, which was a great character to kill. There's too many characters in this show.
Too many characters killed.
Way too many characters in this show. The more that died, the better. At least we got rid of one. Progress. Just another character we need to add in because she's present in season 2 is May, who is Kentaro's ex-girlfriend.
Something like that.
And she used to work for Apex.
She's a hacker.
And excuse me. She's a hacker, and she used to work for Apex, which is Monarch's
cybernetic competitor.
Yeah, exactly. Monarch is technically a government agency, and Apex is private.
You have, it's I was gonna say the FBI versus Apple, but I don't think that's a good comparison.
More what is a company that makes fighter pilots? What is the name of that? Or not fighter pilots? Lockheed Martin. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And if you know the movies, the most important thing Apex ever did is they built Mechagodzilla.
Not yet, though.
Yeah, not this time. So now, after the 2-year jump, it's
2017. It's before, or 2018. It's before King of the Monsters in 2019.
Correct.
Top movie.
So far in the timeline, only 2 movies of the 5 movie series have occurred before this point. One Godzilla attack and one team that has interacted with Kong on Skull Island. So I just wanted to say one quick thing about bringing Shaw back. On one hand, I hate undermining character sacrifices. I also think Alice and I really agree on this. Anytime a character sacrifices themselves to save someone and the other characters then put themselves in danger to save that character is a total ridiculous choice. That person made a choice to save you. Why would you undermine? Because if you die saving them, then their original sacrifice is pointless. But on the other hand, Kurt Russell is the absolute best thing about this show. So I'm not mad that they bring back the best actor in the show. Yeah. So he's getting kind of old, but he's also moves pretty well for a guy his age. Yeah. And so, yeah.
So kind of to summarize 5 episodes, there's 2 plots. Sorry. Sorry. I was just going to say, to clarify.
Yes.
So the past plot is the 3 is Kiko, Randa, and Shaw hunting Titan X. Actually, they're trying to track... and
the only thing they're hunting some tail.
Hey, I'm getting there. It was Santa Soledad, and they go to this little fishing village. It's really giving Innsmouth vibes. Caleb, if you listen, you're gonna understand that reference because I said that to Cameron, and he just gave me a blank stare.
No idea what that was.
It is very Innsmouth vibes, Cthulhu, and so. The locals are cagey. They're like, oh, you need to leave. You can't see our secret ritual, whatever. So basically every year they do, or every couple years, whatever, they do a ritual to this god of theirs that's Titan X. What Titan X is doing is migrating and calling its little crabby babies back home. Little head lice looking things.
Is that... I'm just unclear if they're their baby. It makes logical sense.
Or it's something like... It's a
lot of them.
It's some beneficial parasite, maybe.
Yeah, they call them scarabs.
Yeah.
They don't really look like Titan X. Now, obviously, they're tiny versions, but it doesn't make it a lot of sense for there to be that many babies. Their relationship is really positive, so it does make logical sense to think, oh, these are the babies. But if there were this many babies, it'd be a lot more of these things around. So I think it's yet to be revealed exactly what the scarabs are, and I'm guessing.
And so what happens is Bill wants to keep investigating just the Titan's path in general, while Kiko wants to stay and investigate the fishing village. And Bill's like, okay, you can stay, but I want to go. And so they separate, and Shaw stays with Kiko. And so Bill leaves. over the course of one night, they get drugged by the fish people. They're not fish people. That's Innsmouth. By the villagers. Tried to be like some kind of sacrifice for Titan X or something. I don't know. And either way, they get chased out of the village. I'm just going to finish up this plot line.
Yep.
And then we'll skip. And so in the one night, they take shelter in a shack. And in the one night that Kiko is away from her husband, she sleeps with Shaw. He has been gone less than 6 hours, I would say.
No, they did. This has been building, to be fair.
Look, there's been a lot of tension. Still dumb.
Yeah, I totally agree.
She still took the first chance she got.
Put him to the flames, Rachel. Take him to task.
And so then they wake up. This can never happen again. And Bill comes back literally the next morning. To get them. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I never should have left. I appreciate his apology. So things are tense. Bill got cucked.
Oh. Shoot.
I don't know if I can say that on the podcast, but
we'll throw it to Athena. We'll let Athena decide.
He kind of did. He did. And so it's just it drives me. It has made this show has genuinely made. I'm gonna say this show has genuinely made infidelity the main topic of the show instead of actually talking about monsters or kaiju or Monarch. I say it every time we start an episode. The real legacy of monsters is it's two generations.
Is the marriages we destroyed along the way.
2 generations of infidelity, yeah, Cameron. That's a bad track record.
If you thought surely Monarch Season 2 will have some other focus other than marital infidelity, no, they literally doubled down on it by having 2 characters deal with marital infidelity.
So, back to modern day.
I wanted to say one more thing about that. What was it? So it is insane that they're focusing more on this. And I was just going to say that one would have to guess that the writers of this show just have some real deep-seated trauma around their parents cheating on each other, because that's the only way you would make that the central plot of a monster thing is what's more evil. You and I agree. What's more evil than a monster cheating on your wife or your husband? Certainly more evil. No, actually, it's actually. Do you know what? As bad as the cheating with shoot, I'm so
Hiroshi.
bad. I was going to say with Kiko and Shaw is having 2 families is still worse.
It's still insane.
That is so more organized and structured and selfish. We'll get to it.
So back to the modern day. Kate.
Also, just to make it clear to the audience, that was 4 episodes.
That was 4 episodes.
No, not 4 full episodes, just cutting back and forth. That was 4 episodes worth of flashback plot summarized in like 2 minutes.
Yes.
So that's how slow this show moves. Just wanted to point that out.
And so Kate, back in modern day, Kate releases the monster, and then feels really guilty that all these people are going to die, and it's supposed to make you empathize with her. And even though it's right, she's right. She's like, it's all my fault.
She's somehow the least likable character, even though she has not done any infidelity. She's some of the performance, man, bad.
She talks the way you talk when you're rehearsing conversations in the shower, and the things you wish you said, or the way people write their self-insert OC and fan fictions, where they always have the right words. They're always, because when you talk with her, you're not having a conversation. If you've ever played any video game, it's NPC conversation.
Yeah.
There is no like back and forth. It's like, oh, I'm going to say a sentence to you, Cameron. And it's like you look through my skull and say a prophecy. There's no chemistry at all. And I feel bad because I think Anna Sawai, obviously she's a top actress in other things, but this is it's just flat.
Yeah.
It's flatter than flat. It's almost like 6 feet under. Sorry, Anna, if you're listening to this, but like I had really high hopes for you. And so she goes home, talks to her mom again after 2 years after disappearing off the face of the earth, or into the face of the earth. And it's like, and her mom actually put on a really convincing performance. Like, I thought you were dead. First your dad left, and now, and she goes, I'm home. And it's like, shut up. Have some sympathy. And then she goes on like a drunken, drug-induced bender to try to forget the fact that she's released this Titan. And so, pause. I'll come back to this.
Please don't.
Or maybe I'll just say, so she falls asleep on the ship of on the beach of San Francisco, and then the show has been building to her having this like almost spiritual mental connection with Titan X. She is hearing things through the water, like she's sensing things through the water, and I think it's kind of building up to how 2019 does like the monster calls.
I see.
Like with the workout, I think it's leading to that, but either way, I think it's dumb the way they're doing it. And so she has to evacuate with San Francisco because the Titan is supposed to be coming, and she finds like the one student she managed to save from the first film that didn't die on the bus she was on, and the mom is like, she wouldn't be alive if not for you, and it reinvigorates her to go back to her dad and Monarch and try to stop the Titan. So that's her little jaunt. And then basically, all that to say, Apex and Monarch just beef for 4 episodes straight. And come to find out, Apex was given like governmental power to take over Monarch's stuff for a little while and tricked them into following a blue whale instead of what they thought was the Titan. So that Apex plan right now is working on neurological control of Titans. That's how they want to coexist. That's their experiments. And so they all go to Soledad, the original place where the ship, where Titan X was, and that's kind of where it convenes in episode 5.
Thank you for doing that, so I didn't have to.
You're welcome.
I didn't want to.
Before we get to like I was gonna say like the titular part, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Like plot twist at the end of episode 5. There are some things I really want to address with how I hate these people.
And now it's time for Rachel Hates Everyone, in Monarch season 2.
I hate how much they're justifying Kiko's affair.
Absolutely.
Because, so as we come to find out, Kiko wrote a letter to Shaw talking about how much she loved him, but what happened between them could never happen again. And that she loves Bill more. You don't do that. You don't write a letter confessing your love, but whatever. And so after Kiko dies like 2 months later. Kiko disappears 2 months later. And then Shaw, I think, disappears after her because they had Shaw's stuff. Because Shaw kept it. And for some reason, Bill had it. And Bill, or young Hiroshi, who's like 11, was going through Shaw's stuff. And Bill finds this love letter from his assumed dead wife to assumed dead best friend. And so it leads up to this point where Bill, Hiroshi's got some daddy issues because Bill sent him to live with Kiko's parents. They literally use that as the plot to why Hiroshi has a thicker Japanese accent.
Yep.
Because he tells his mom, why do you think I have this accent? Because dad sent me to live with grandparents. And Bill spends the next 10 years following Titan X's migratory patterns, which he completed at Skull Island and then died. So he never came back.
Yes.
Well, Hiroshi also finds the letter and then blames his mom for Bill abandoning him, his dad abandoning him. And Kiko pulls some stupid response where she was like, you can't fault me for falling in love with 2 men. I will. I can and I will. She's married to Bill. Like, she is married to him. It's like you had full control over that situation. Well, obviously you didn't. It's just so frustrating because she's like, well, you can't fault me for falling in love with 2 men. But then she's criticizing him for having 2 families.
Yep.
And it's like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Kiko.
Yep. What
did your parents do? So it's just, sorry, I get really heated about this because it's so stupid because it's such a false mindset to try to justify. It's just cheat. I just can't. It's my feelings. It's what I want. It's greedy and it's lustful and it's ignorant.
Couldn't agree more.
Anyways, it makes me so angry. And I think it's, yeah.
I don't really have much to add because you're totally, totally right. It is bizarre that instead of just almost like when you like realize that you're talking to someone and or the group, and you realize that no one else is interested, so you just abruptly change the topic because you realize, okay, this is dead, break it off, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Instead of doing that with this show, they've decided to go instead of just changing the subject, making the show about something else. Even with the same characters, they could have done that. They have chosen to go deeper into this stuff and go into justification. I think that's the bizarre turn this show has gone
When
down.
we said we wanted more stuff focused on the past, we didn't mean Kiko and Shaw literally shacking up.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And I will say they are two beautiful people. Those two actors are very
so
attractive.
beautiful.
So but it's still
Bill Randa, the actor who plays Bill Randa, got buff between season 1 and season 2. I genuinely, like, I'm not trying to be weird, but this man has done some upper body work. I noticed it, which makes me sound like a freak. But it was just like, I was like, he has beefed up between seasons, probably because he's next to Wyatt Russell.
Sure. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough
like, gosh, can't
order. You've definitely attached to one of the major negatives. So let's talk positive.
No. I think there's one more thing we need to address at the end
we'll
of
come
season.
back.
Okay,
We'll come back. We're going to come back. Especially if it's at the end. Let's come back to the end.
Okay.
The monster stuff is a lot of fun. It's not super common. I do think it does seem like it's a little more common than the first season. I don't know, stopwatch time on screen. But especially towards the beginning of the season, there's some good monster stuff. The Kong stuff, there's right off the bat a Kong attack.
Kong is pissed. That was probably one of my favorite
Looks
bits. He
great.
was so mad.
Looks really, really good.
Titan X looks really cool.
Titan X is a super fun character.
I remember seeing
monster that is
leaks of that thing and being like, this is dumb. And now actually seeing it, going, all right,
if you see a still frame, if you see it out of context, if you saw just like an a CG model of it, it might look really bad. But just in motion, in context, works really well. Is complex. Like, it's not just like straight up evil. Like, has this like positive relationship with the scarabs that we don't understand
the
yet.
kaiju, aside from Ghidorah, aren't inherently evil.
Sure.
They're just it's like the astrophage. They're just there.
Some other... Oh, there's also a really good shot of... I just like it's a cool way to open an episode. I think it's episode 2 opens with a whale, and then Titan X like swims over it. And we talk a lot about with these movies, sense of scale, super important. Really gives Titan X a really good sense of scale right there.
I do really like the intro cards.
The animation?
The animation and the music. It's a little bit of a bop, and it gets me excited each time, and I'm promptly disappointed.
Other monsters that are present, there is the first episode has a few because it's Skull Island.
Mm-hmm. And then they go to Apex, and Apex is hoarding animals.
So the beginning, episode 1 and episode 5 probably has the most extra creatures. You've got like an electric bat thing that's pretty cool from episode 1.
That thing has existed in the comics of Skull Island.
You've got like a moss tiger. I think that was actually... I don't remember whether I have it written down, but I don't quite remember.
I think it's mentioned in season 1, but maybe it's brought up again in season 2.
Well, I think you see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the thing where they saw on Skull Island, and it didn't really. It looked kind of like the bear from Annihilation.
Oh
yeah,
that's what that was. The scarabs, which we kept calling little bastards, are sometimes practical. Like a practical animatronic. They're fun. They're very inconsistent though. They have multiple scenes where they swarm, and this is one of the worst examples of plot armor for main characters you will ever see. They will instantly swarm unnamed characters and eat them, and they will just go around main characters. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Any others? So towards the end of the season, of this first half of the season, you've got what? I did not write it down actually. Do you remember? Like needle birds. Here you go. And I thought there was another one.
The little razor beak things that you see in Skull Island that rip apart that guy.
Yeah.
That scene is kind of like emblazoned into my head because I feel like that part in Skull Island, they're on the boat, they're gonna escape, and then that happens, and you're like, oh yeah, we're still on Skull Island. Crazy. Yeah.
So
Skull Island.
I do think there's more consistent and generally good monster stuff in this season. But I also don't think that this season so far has any real, like, key moments.
Nothing has been accomplished.
Like, in the first season, anything with Godzilla is just like, wow, which is typical.
Wow.
I think I really honestly, as much as I dislike the story, the first one, the way that they, whenever Hiroshi, my character's not Hiroshi, Kentaro finds Hiroshi, and like Kentaro was in like this like weird state of mind where he's like remembering the past, the future, visually very cool. I remember that from the first season.
Yeah.
And the moment that incredible moment when Shaw comes back to the surface and he realizes, and like the time card reveals what year it is.
Yeah.
There's just like there's a few key moments in that first season that are really like I remember that. It's been 2 years and I remember those moments. I don't think there's anything like that so far in Monarch in season 2.
No.
The Kong stuff is fun. I said the monster stuff is fun. I like the atmosphere of the past scenes on the island. It's kind of like it's creepy. I think the performances outside of Kate and May are generally pretty strong. There's just it's not really a key like real like thing that I think you can really hold on to. So like I said earlier about Monarch season 1 compared to Bad Batch season 3 having better highs and lows. Similarly, Monarch season 1 compared to season 2. Season 1 has better highs but lower lows. Season 2 is just kind of middling, I think, in my opinion. But I do appreciate that at least they're chasing an actual monster and not their dad across the world. So there's that.
Speaking of their dad,
are you going to talk about?
Is it time?
Yes, let's talk about it.
All right, so they go back to this island. It's been abandoned. Monarch had an outpost at some point. And so we've got our whole cast again. We've got Kiko, Old Shaw, Hiroshi, and then his 2 half kids. And no, not May, because May went back to work for Apex as like a spy.
Yes.
Which is, it feels like all the characters are back in their same spots. But anyways, whatever.
Not much has been accomplished. Yeah.
And so they're there to stop Apex because Apex wants to control Titan X with some code that May has written, but she doesn't think it's going to work. There's not enough time for it to get it to work. And she also seems to be kind of supporting Apex too, to be like, we could prevent another G-Day, blah, blah, blah. Take a shot every time you hear G-Day. You're have to get your stomach pumped. And so our misfit band of Monarch people who are also, no, they're not Monarch because they're hunted by the governments right now for, I don't even remember why. I think because they're going rogue. I don't know. So they're hiding out, and Titan X shows up to collect its little bug babies. And Kate just approaches it and has like this weird mental connection with it. And like she's not herself or whatever. And then Apex fires this little neurological bomb at it, and it feels a lot of pain. And Kate feels that same pain. And her dad, Hiroshi, comes out and he's trying to pull her back from this dock, like this fishing dock, and finally like picks her up and starts running because Titan X starts freaking out, and the little scarabs come out and rip the affected appendage off, effectively ending Apex's control. Titan X, pissed, like sweeps, it's got like tentacles, sweeps an arm through the village, and it throws Hiroshi and Kate, and then it just levels the Apex encampment, like destroyed. It throws Hiroshi and Kate hits her head. Otherwise, she's fine. It pans to her dad, Hiroshi, and he's like impaled through the sternum. Somehow, all we see is blood. And he's freaking out. Well, he's not freaking out. He's dying. Kate's freaking out. Kiko comes, and they're like trying to comfort. They pull back to this song that they know through the family, and you find that out through dumb reasons. And so Hiroshi dies, and it's supposed to be this huge emotional gut punch, and it's like, no, there's nothing. Kentaro went to get help, comes back, his dad's dead. Kiko is just emotionless. She's been reunited with her son after how long, and she's just no reaction. And it's supposed to be like, oh, we're not holding back the punches anymore. Look at us. We're killing characters. And it's like, okay, but we don't care. Like, this is just, this felt the same way for Hiroshi dying versus the 2 surfers that got by the little scarabs. Actually, I felt worse for the surfers. Felt bad for them. So it's just, they've protected their characters too long. They've held their punches back too long. And then they're expecting us to care about characters that are not worth caring for. And then it ends.
You got it, Rachel. We're of one mind about this. You've totally nailed it. I don't think in my opinion, there's no other way to look at this show. Like, I just don't know. Yes, if you enjoy monster stuff, you're gonna enjoy the monster stuff in this. It's good monster stuff, but it's too few and far between to think, oh, this is a great show. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, I like dumb stuff. Like, you and I both agree, Godzilla X Kong, super dumb movie. Super fun.
It's dumb, but at least it's got Godzilla and King Kong in it.
In most of the movie. And yeah, bad human stuff there too, but it's not like so overwhelmingly present that it ruins the movie. I think the human stuff ruins this show.
And that's the whole show because it's all human stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
also you find out that Hiroshi never wanted Kentaro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You find out because when Kentaro was born, his wife, I'm guessing wife, I don't know, is like, I'm sorry, I know you only wanted to be the 2 of us. You didn't want a child. And it's like, do you know how you prevent children? There's super easy ways to prevent children. And the best way is not sleeping with someone that's not your wife.
Good way.
Just throwing that out there.
I agree. I had another.
Oh, and we're supposed to understand, and we're supposed to justify that Hiroshi was okay with having 2 wives because he has daddy issues. Break the cycle. Do the work and break the cycle for your own kids.
Yep.
Anyways, sorry, I'm getting hot over here because I'm angry about this.
I'm not saying media shouldn't depict immoral things because that's compelling stories. It's when you expect us to care about these characters and you give them no other redeeming qualities or like understandable motivations or like it just is. That's all there is to these characters is their infidelity and there's nothing else. And they're the most interesting characters because the other characters have nothing going on. Mm-hmm. It's bizarre that, like, yeah, the characters we like the least morally are the most compelling characters other than Shaw. Shaw's great because they're Russells. Kurt and Wyatt Russell, who are amazing. Anyways, I had another point I wanted to bring up. This show. You got the monster stuff, it's pretty good. Other stuff, not so good. One small positive thing. At the very minimum, they mentioned Serizawa.
You know what? I'll give them a point for that. They did mention Serizawa because I think they were talking about the idea of what to do with Titan X. And they're like, do we watch it? Do we stop it? And someone was like, that's what Serizawa did in San Francisco or whatever. He let them fight. You know, the phrase that everyone says, let them fight.
I feel like I had one other thing. I can't remember if it was positive or negative. What was it? It was...
I just have the hope. I don't have the hope. What are the chances all these characters die in 2019 because of Ghidorah?
I mean, I said it last time we covered this podcast. I'll say it again. I would love to see these characters, just their dead bodies, present in a mainline movie. There is really... But the issue is... There's no continuity because nothing happened in this period in the movies.
They've trapped themselves between 2 movies.
Yeah. Not trapped, chosen to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's just not much going on. I think I wanted to talk about... I think they did some weird reshoots on this as well.
Yeah.
Because there are shots of characters in the same scene that do not feel like they're in the same space. And you will see one character talking and other characters talking, and you will never see them in the same shot. And so I don't, that's neither here nor there, but it makes the show look weird too at times. Man, I do feel like I had something more substantial than that. Man, I should have. I wrote down notes as I watched the episodes, but I didn't write down any like bigger notes. D.A. Hiroshi looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not a huge fan of CGI de-aging as far as how like prevalent it is in movies and shows, but like when it's done well, I respect it. It looked interesting. I did have my own joke that I was proud of, with that when Kentaro gets mad at his mom, I called him, "Oh, this is rich coming from Mister. If it's in a different hemisphere, it doesn't count."
You mean Hiroshi?
Did I say Hiroshi?
You say Kentaro.
I wrote down the wrong name. I have some Rachel quotes.
I just talked through every single episode.
When Shaw and Kiko had their sexy time, you said, maybe you should have found a boat for undercover of night instead of finding other covers to hide under. That was funny.
I love reliving these because I don't remember them.
I guess that was only quote. I thought I had more quotes. That was the only one I read written down. But it was a good quote. Rachel is just tearing off. It's just the way she digs into these characters while we're watching the show is so funny. It does make it almost worth it. It is. I hate TV and I hate like television, like shows, like the structure of television onto a seasons and how unending a lot of shows try to be.
I just don't understand how people are like, this is the best show ever.
Yeah.
People like Godzilla fans are eating good. What are we eating good? An empty corn cob?
Get them, Rachel. What I was going to say is I hate the structure of most television shows because they're meant to go on forever. And I hate wasting my time with media that I know that I won't like. So I don't hate watch. Literally, this is the only thing in my entire life I've ever hate watched.
I hate watching it.
Yeah. And it's only for this podcast. I think.
Thanks, Mom, for letting us use your Apple account.
It's interesting to think how far I would have gotten if it wasn't for this podcast. I don't think I would have gotten many episodes. I think I would have gotten then I probably would have just watched highlights from season 1 after a couple episodes of it just sucking, and I would have just waited for this season to end and done the same thing because I'm not being tricked twice. I think I am allowing myself to be tricked twice, but in this alternate universe where we don't have the podcast or we don't cover Godzilla stuff on the podcast.
Oh, terrible.
An interesting note. So the 5th episode is directed by a guy named Jeff King, who was a producer on The Acolyte. So if that tells you anything.
No. History right.
It's so bizarre that this is an Apple original. I don't know how much we've talked about that, but just that we did talk about how
is it because you don't have to be held to standards if you're on Apple TV?
Well, we said, I remember last year we reported that they had spent something like $3 billion and only made $2 billion or something. It was there was $1 billion difference between how much they had spent and how much they had made. And they're still open a year or 2 years later after that was reported. They are still going. That's insane. Apple money is ridiculous. And so they can afford, I just got my first pair of new AirPods today. Mm-hmm. They can afford to spend over $1 billion in deficit on this crap, but they can't afford to include a charger with brand new $200 AirPods. Ridiculous. No. Ridiculous. You can pay the actress who plays Kate to not act, but you can't include a charger with $200 headphones. Freaking Apple. If you're paying for, here's what I'm going to end the show with. If you are paying for Apple Plus to watch this show, I'm sorry. But here's some really good stuff.
That's how we're watching it.
Well, we're not paying for it. Rachel's mom. Thank you, Rachel's mom.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Mom.
You are our top tier contributor to the podcast this month. Some really good stuff that's on there that I have seen. Everyone knows Severance. Severance, absolutely insanely good.
It is worth it.
Show.
My coworker says it is.
It was a long wait for season 2. And season 2 does not conclude things, but it gives more. Like season 1 and season 2 is more of a complete show than just season 1. Incredible show. Came out last year, movie called F1 with Brad Pitt.
Ew.
Fun movie. If you like Top Gun Maverick, it's the same thing, just race cars.
Cars.
There is a documentary series called 1971 that is about that year in music and how it was a transitional cultural shift. Really compelling, very educational. If you're into music and it just culture in general, it's
I thought you were
super
talking
educational.
about the Yellowstone spinoff for a second.
Oh no, that's like
And I was
1917. I
was
think.
like, really?
No, that's all on Paramount Plus. That's for old people.
You say that, but my
and
grandma
rednecks.
loves that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, there you go.
My
There
grandma
you go.
loves those shows.
There's a really incredible documentary called Still. That's kind of a like autobiography / memoir for Michael J. Fox. It's called Still because he has Parkinson's. And Parkinson's, you
he's
move a lot.
not.
Really, really good. So if you are at all interested in him as an actor or Parkinson's or just the life of an actor, life of someone with a very serious disability.
You think Parkinson's is cool?
Not cool, but yeah. Another one everyone talks about, but is so fun. Ted Lasso, super funny, heartwarming, great characters. A little cringy at times, but the good definitely outweighs the bad. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I'm just going to quickly scroll through here. I think that's all I've seen. I started Pluribus, which is about the entirety of Earth is taken over by like an alien hive mind, and only a few humans are immune. But they are not trying to. They're like a peaceful hive mind. Like they've like forcibly taken over Earth, but they're not trying to force the humans who are immune. They're not trying to kill them or anything. So it's just kind of interesting. Like it's got this like ominous overtone, but it's kind of funny in how there's not actually a threat to the main character. Main character is a pretty compelling character, good performance. I didn't finish it, but I liked what I saw of it. Let's see if there's anything else in here that I've actually seen. They have a lot. Oh, Deaf President Now.
Oh, so
incredible documentary. My favorite movie of last year.
Just go watch it. Go watch it.
Awesome. The Studio is fun. That's a comedy about studio heads, executive producers, and the like. If you're into movies and stuff like that, so it's very funny.
Basically, just about everything else is better.
Absolutely.
On Apple TV than Monarch.
Almost certainly. And there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen, but the stuff I have watched is all very, very good. I have not watched this show, but there's a Colin Farrell detective mystery called Sugar that, spoiler, has apparently one of the most insane twists ever. So if you want to watch something that you're gonna like, oh, I know there's a twist, I want to try to guess it, that might be fun. Let's see here.
Are we going to go through all of Apple TV's discography?
No, I'm just quickly scrolling to see stuff I know about that I think is worth checking out. There's a dinosaur thing, Prehistoric Planet. I've not seen it, but, dinosaur stuff.
Yeah, but I've heard they used AI in it.
That's not great. Mixed review, CODA, which, if you don't know, is an acronym for Child of Deaf Adult. I didn't love it. It won Best Picture that year, which is one of the most baffling Best Picture winners of my generation.
One of the actors came and spoke at my work.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's crazy.
My work conglomerate.
Wow. It's if you're interested in deaf culture, if you want a fairly lighthearted film, it's fine. It's definitely better than Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. I've heard the documentary Boys State is really good. I've heard Wolfwalkers. We might need to cover that.
I think we should actually, because the same studio that did that has also made some Star Wars Vision stuff.
Yeah, I've never seen it. And they also have like a bunch of new Charlie Brown stuff that I've never seen that I've heard is pretty good. So there is good stuff on Apple Plus. It's not meant to be an ad for it, but I'm saying if you're already paying for it, or if you're inclined to do some yo-ho-hoing on the internet, yeah. Anyways. I have some video memes for Meme Minute.
Show me. I don't have any. I just send all my memes to Cameron on Instagram at this point, so he's already seen them.
The first thing I opened to is a picture of Rachel. She's over there. She's real.
It's her birthday post. Our editor is 11 years old.
Official like from the Rebels and Robots.
Oh, wow. Instagram. Thank you. It's got that notification.
It's funny. So far, we have watched most of the episodes of Monarch at our apartment, so Peanut has had to be subjected to Monarch. Okay, I've got to bring up my Meme Minute folder here. Let's see here. I've actually quite a few. I don't really remember most of these, so we'll see how it goes. Know the difference: Clanka and Clanker, and it's Bumblebee and a super battle droid.
Stop.
Okay, this is an official ad for Jurassic World the game. Well, I'll restart it. Official. This is official.
That's amazing. I'm down for
And
it.
it's also very poorly. It's just PNGs of raptors bouncing up and down, and then a still image of a Spinosaurus.
I'm here for it.
I didn't watch this far.
Do you know what it's referencing?
I guess not.
It's an old Badger meme. Badger.
Okay, I remember that. I didn't. Okay, yeah. There's a Godzilla meme. The relationship in between Godzilla and Mothra in the MonsterVerse. A relationship of alliance, but the fandom made it a love affair. The relationship between Godzilla and Monarch in the Japanese films, and it's just stop motion. I'm trying to get the noise to come back.
Monarch or Mothra?
Sorry, Mothra.
I knew the meme. I knew the meme.
It's just a stop motion of a Godzilla toy just slapping Mothra with a big light swatter.
I do have this because you haven't opened any of my Instagram messages today, but it's Project Hail Mary and someone editing Rocky into all of Ryan Gosling's films.
See this? Yes.
So you do have La La Land. I would actually watch La La Land if it had Rocky in it.
If it was Emma Rocky and not Emma Stone. So this is a picture of something at the store, and it just says, "Gonna plaster these on my wall for no reason at all," and it's like it's something you put in your sink to like stop stuff from falling down into the drain,
and it
looks like the decorative decor of the Death Star. Starting to think Godzilla was just a normal sized lizard, and it's just a tall guy walking around Japan, having to duck into everything.
Correct.
Stop us from getting copyrighted. This is a great caption. Trying to think that he was just a normal sized lizard. I don't know what this is. So it's some sort of dinosaur thing.
Is that really what I look like, man? I need to lose weight. That is really, really bad, dude.
Do you know what sound clip that's from?
Oh, it's Smiling Friends.
Smiling Friends.
So it's a Spinosaurus looking at how he looks in Jurassic World Rebirth, where they're really tubby and like gooey. I need to lose fat. I need to lose weight really freaking fast. It's such a good Smiling Friend. I don't really like the show that much. It's not for me. But they make the best memes. Those quotes are so good.
That sound clip plays in my head whenever I see a picture of myself I don't like. Is that really what I look like?
Okay, how many more do I have? I've got, this is the last one, I think. It's a clip from the original Transformers show. Did you catch the joke? Are you catching what's happening here?
9/11 joke.
Yeah, so it takes a second, but it's just a clip of, who is that? I'll let you. I think it's one of the Dinobots, or like a combiner. I'm not sure. It might be Ravage.
Oh, it's Devastator. The caption.
But he's just crashing through two buildings that look exactly like the Twin Towers.
Two Twin Towers, you could say.
Yeah. So that's me minute, but it was longer than a minute. But man, it was fun, and it definitely felt shorter than any minute of Monarch Season 2.
Oh.
We will return
in Avengers Doomsday.
It's our Doomsday, having to finish this show. So the last episode is on May 1st. So the week after that, we will plan to cover the second half. I'm really that was what I was going to say earlier. I cannot imagine covering this episode by episode, even pairs of episodes. I'm really glad that we're cutting it just into two.
We have to have some solid drinks to get us through.
Yeah. So we will be back in the first week of May to talk about the second half of Monarch Season 2. And sometime between now and then, we should at least get one episode in of the new podcast.
I don't know if we're going to cover them all.
That'll be in the
Really
summer. Probably not, unless people say it's really amazing or maybe really terrible.
Well, everyone says Monarch's really good, and look where we
Yeah, that's a
are.
good point.
Look where we
Good
are.
point. But I don't trust those people. Then in May, we will have also Mandalorian and Grogu, which, you know what? I saw the full trailer for the first time in front of Project Hail Mary.
Same.
Looks pretty good.
Gosh, I know.
It looks fun.
I know.
It looks like more than just a long episode of the show. I don't have a sense of the plot. I don't know if there is much of a plot.
There isn't.
I'm not, you know what? After how plotty some of the movies did get, like the Solo movie should not have been as plotty as it was. I'm kind of okay with just an adventure movie.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. Maybe we saw everything that's good in that trailer, but there was some good stuff in there. I'm optimistic.
I know. I saw it and I was like, oh, man, this.
Don't give me hope, man, but I got hope. There's some kind of cringy like fan service stuff, like trailers like these always end with some sort of big like, oh, they're including that, or oh, that thing I love is back, and it's in this trailer. It is Grogu getting in his carousel, or what? It's not a carousel.
It's a stroller. A stroller should not have the capacity to go that fast.
Yeah, so that felt kind of like for the little kids and the Facebook moms, but
toys, Cameron.
That's what's the
toys.
Yeah, but other than that, I enjoyed the trailer quite a bit, and I'm excited for the movie. Then I think there was something in June that we wanted to cover. Did I ever make it? I didn't make a calendar.
Was it Godzilla -1? But isn't that December now?
That may
or
have been
Godzilla -0, or as the logo seems to imply, goo.
That's great. Anyways, it's been fun. It was fun to be back. It was the break. I think was helpful to kind of recharge the old batteries. But I'm excited to keep podcasting. I'm excited for you guys to listen to the first episode of the new thing. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be deeper. I think it'll be way better than Monarch season 2. I'll promise that.
Yeah,
and until then, if you have a problem with someone, it's better to launch them into space with amnesia than to cheat on them.
Yeah. It's percolating. Hold on. I hope the sun dies